What if you could take any lead sheet and create a gorgeous piano arrangement without hours of practice or reading every single note? Wouldn't that be amazing? After years of teaching, I've developed my 5-step roadmap to create your own beautiful arrangement of any song. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works using the iconic song Turn the Page by Bob Seger. And before we dive in, if you'd like to have the PDF version of this video, you can get it for free down below in the description. So step 1, we need to set the foundation of the song. So we're gonna look at the chords in root position to learn the notes. Then you have to practice them in different inversion. It's gonna be really helpful when we start adding the melody. So the chords for the songs, we have E minor, A, G, and B. Then we have D major, D, F sharp, and A. We go to A major, A, C sharp, and E, and we also have C major, so it's C, E, and G. So basically, this is the only 4 chords you need to play this beautiful song. So your first step here is really to go through these chords and get familiar with the notes in each. So E minor, D, A, and C. Perfect. Now that you have that, you want to make sure you can go from one chord to another using chord inversion. So if I go back to E minor, then D is closer right here. But for A major, it's going to be way easier if I go right here, way closer too. And then for C, I actually have 2 options, this one or this one. All right, so that's for this option right here. I have another option from this one. We can go from E minor, D, A, and C. And if we do it one more time, from E minor, D, A, and C. So as you can see right here, you have different options to play these chords based on the chord inversion. And when we add the melody to this arrangement, it's really important to be comfortable with those different chord inversions because the melody is going to guide us to know what chord inversion we need. So in step 1, we're practicing the chords in root position, but also in different chord inversion to really feel comfortable with those chords. Now for step 2, let's play the chord with some tempo from the song. So we're going to be adding a little bit of rhythm and patterns to these chords using chord inversion and practicing this through the whole song. So usually my go-to when I start learning a song is just go with simple quarter note on my right hand and keep it simple with whole note on my left. Just having the root or the power chords in here. So let's take a look if I just go through the first verse, how it goes if I just add a little bit of rhythm following the structure of the song. Starting from here, let's just go straight into the verse. We'll go back to the introduction when we talk about the melody. So E minor, and let's go. We have 2 bars of E minor to start. So 1, 2, 3, 4. D, A major, so basically this is the first part of the verse. So verse 1 has this section, has this structure. Now for the verse 2, it's exactly the same as what we just did. So this is where I would start. I would go with only the quarter note, going through the structure, figuring out where everything is. Let's look at the chorus in the same way. So in the chorus, we're actually starting on D. So we're gonna go with 1, 2, 3, 4, E. D. E. D. A. Then C for 2, D for 2, and back to E minor. And here we have 4 bars of E minor. All right, so this is the structure. You go through it, you've played some quarter note in there, so you have a good idea of where we are going. Now let's push this idea of rhythm and adding rhythm patterns here, because we can actually do broken chords, adding arpeggios, and make it sound more beautiful, more like if you want to sing along. So it could be just a accompaniment version of this, and you could sing this song. So another cool pattern you can add with the quarter note is on the left, adding arpeggios right here. So I love arpeggios for this. So we have 1, 5, and 1, just like that, with the quarter note. So we could have like and just like this. I feel like we're already having a beautiful arrangement of this. That's A, and back to E minor. Right? How this sounds like. Now, if I do the same pattern but in the chorus, it's a little bit shorter. A minor, D, A minor, here you gotta be careful. C, D, and E minor. So for the C, we have last time, so it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, back to E minor. All right, so this is how you adapt this pattern to this song. One more we can do. We can add some broken chords that feels nice for a beautiful rock ballad like this. So so if you're not sure about a broken chord, what it is basically taking the chords we were playing and breaking the chord in two parts. So top to bottom, so E and G going to B, and you have this beautiful movement you can add right here. Now, with only those three ideas, we can start mixing them to create a new arrangement of this accompaniment, creating those rhythms. So remember, quarter note, arpeggios, broken chord. Let's mix it and see what happens. See, now we're having something that gets really interesting because we're mixing different ideas. It doesn't feel like all repetitive where we're playing the same pattern for the entire song and it feels boring. We're moving through something that is more musical and feels like a real song. Let's do the same idea but in the chorus now. Here we go. So we have something interesting now going into the chorus. We have different idea to move through this song. And by the way, if this is something you want to get better at, you will love the Online Rock Lessons Academy. This is where I walk you through a simple step-by-step roadmap so you can play full pop and rock songs at the piano using these ideas. For more information to get started, you can click the link below in the description. Alright, now you have the chords, we have the structure, and even some rhythm patterns. Let's get into the melody. So if you want, you can stop right here. Don't learn the melody, just have fun with the chords and the rhythm pattern and sing along. Have a friend sing with you. This could be it. You could only focus on those first two steps. But if you want to go further and create a beautiful piano solo arrangement of this song, we actually have to learn to play the melody. For this, you have actually two options. You can either learn the melody note by note, just like on the sheet music, Or you can go more by ear and play a version of the melody with some variation. You need to respect the tempo, and we need to know the song you're playing, of course. But it can get really interesting to create your own version of this if you go by ear and get inspired by the note on the sheet music. That's actually how I create my own arrangement. I usually look at the sheet music, I know the general rhythm of the melody, I also know the song, so I can sing it in my head, and I try to create something just like a singer would do. I try to sing the melody, but on the piano. So play the melody if you can and add the left hand with the root note. Super simple. So let's just start with this. We're gonna go with the introduction that we haven't talked about, and it's just like a melody. So for this one, we really want to try to have this as close as possible for this because it's the theme of this song. What you want to do is we're gonna start only one note or the power chord, pick the one that you like, and we're gonna try to play the introduction with the melody. So we have 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3. All right, just this. Now we can try and go more by ear. So we're gonna have E, G, and then we play the melody, and we keep having this on the first beat where we have a chord change. Very important. We want to hear the harmony that is moving right here. D. Alright, so that's an example of the melody. You probably realize I'm not playing every single note that you see on the sheet music. I'm really creating a new version of this for a few reasons. First of all, repeating too many notes on the piano can feel a little bit stiff and weird. So usually I will try to modify this so it feels more musical when I'm playing it. And it's fine, we're not singing any lyrics here. We're really creating a melody with the piano. And you can tell that this is the song I'm playing right here. So one more time. So we have... just like that. All right, let's keep going. So back to E, G, ba, ba, ba. There we go. And this is part of the instrument in the back, so you can add it if you like. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now into the chorus. And then we have less notes, so it should be easier. 2, 3. 2, 3. And we have the same pattern here, you can add it. It's part of the piano in the back. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Now it goes back to the new verse, and we have the same structure, verse, chorus, again a few times. So this is the melody of the song. You mostly have it. So make sure you practice this. Simple left hand, go through the melody. You can even play with the original track if you like. Try to follow along and really see how it goes. Next thing I want to show you is you can actually add the arpeggios we were doing on the left if you want to add a little bit movement and more harmony inside the melody. So it could go like this. If I start from, let's say, the verse, so back to the top, and we have just arpeggios being added here. So you see, it's already adding so much more to your playing right here. Instead of having just one note, you can add those 2 8 notes and the quarter note that is tied right here. So it's really helping to have the whole harmony playing in the back if you like. So in this step, just start learning the melody, simple left hand, and then you can add a little bit more with the arpeggios on the left. All right, next we're gonna add the notes of the chord below the melody line every time we have a chord change. So this is what we call harmonization. So we are taking the chords and we are harmonizing the melody with it. Let's start with the introduction. So if you look at this, we have an E minor. So it starts for the whole introduction, it's in E minor. And the melody on top is G going to F sharp, like this. So what you want to be doing is every time you have a chord change, so you see the chord symbols, you want to make sure you play the notes of the chord within your right hand. So what we could do here for the introduction is we could add those 2 notes below, or we could go like this. I don't really like this one because I feel like this is taking the focus out of this beautiful melody. So this is why I think we're going to be adding G and B, and we keep this one on top. So like this. And you play it only on the first one. So now you don't have to. You can play only single notes. But since we're holding the note, we can play the chord on the bottom or just wait. 3. Like this. Then the melody starts here on a B, so you want to be adding some notes below the B. Always keep the melody on top, very important. So you have B on top. Those are the notes we can add. Let's just add 2 right here. So alright, so what I did, I added the notes only when the chord was on the first beat, and on the second bar, it's the same chord, so just play again the harmony right here with the B. Alright, we're changing to D. So for D, the top note of the melody is A, so we can place a beautiful D in root position right here. Same thing again, and then you play single notes. You don't have to worry about it for now. Next, moving to A. So A has A on the top. So we have this chord inversion we can play below A. See the importance of your chord inversion here? So what we can do here, we have this line, vocal line here, A, G, and E. So we can play B and E from the E minor chord below and play this melody. 2, 3, 4. There's nothing here, so let's play the chord. 1, 2, 3. And we start again. Alright, for this one we have to jump down here because the top note of the melody is E. 2, 3. We can play it like this. So this is a verse. This is how you add chords to the melody. Let's go to the chorus. Like this, and then this one on top. So E minor with the chorus, we have B on top. D with A. 2, 3. Again. Melody. Alright, for this one we have a B on top, and we have to play an A major. So what I like to do is to keep the focus on the melody. So this is why you could play A. It's actually not a 9th chord, which is a beautiful chord, but I would have to, I think I would be playing this one without the A, because anyways I have it on the bottom here, and it breathes better when we don't have this too close to the melody. For C, same thing here. Anyways, we're going to the G right after. So with A and then G. 2. On D we don't have a melody note, so let's just play the chords. And then we're going to E minor. And there you have it. This is how you would be playing the notes with the chords with the melody. So I strongly suggest you spend some time just doing this, adding the chords below the melody when you have a chord change. Don't try to do too much at once. Keep it simple on the left. But if this is getting easier for you, you can use the arpeggios on the left we had earlier and start adding them. So let's see how it would go if I add this on the left. So let's go back to the introduction. And we could go and add this here. So it would be like... And here we have the melody starting. So it's really adding a lot in the bottom here to have these arpeggios. A. And if you don't have a chord or a note from the melody, you can actually play the chords here. 3, 4, 1, and 2, just like this. So see, just this movement adding so much. Let's look at this, but inside the chorus. So we have... this. All right, it's getting somewhere now. The last step is my favorite one. Only when you can play the whole song with the melody, just like we did in step 4, and you're comfortable with the chords and some patterns, you can start adding more to this with fills, licks, more rhythm inside of the melody, and creating something way more full as a piano solo arrangement. So let's see what I could add in here so it sounds even more beautiful. So starting with the introduction, I think I like to have it really simple. So what I'm adding here is basically just a few rhythm to feel the beat in the back. So one note, and then I have the beat down here. But it's nice if you want to let it breathe. And then 2 notes, 2 arpeggios to go lower, so I'm ready to play the melody. I would keep it simple here. There is way too many notes anyways in the melody. So what I like to do is add more harmony to more notes in the melody when I can, just like in this one. So you could do so keep the D on the bottom right here, just below the note of the melody. We're on D major if it's great, and it adds more harmony to your melody. Here, you have space to play. So what's really nice to do is to add a small, simple feel, and what I love to do is use with the add 9 on a minor chord. It sounds so beautiful. So let me show you what I could do in this space where there's no melody in here. Alright, let's see what I have in here. So I went here, F sharp, G, B, and E. Always super pretty to go with the add 9. And I moved with the arpeggios. It's basically all the notes of the chord. So you can add some feels moving on the note of the chord right here. And always the F sharp, you can go through it right here. Alright? Back again. I'm just playing the melody right here, by the way. I'm not doing too much. Sometimes I'm just adding the notes that is on my thumb here, below the note of the melody, but there is already a lot. So something I like to do is complete the arpeggio of my left with my right hand here. Like this. It feels natural to just have this. So it's just a matter of having a little bit more notes for arpeggios here. Then let's go into the chorus. You could go all the way down with beautiful octaves if you like, if you want to make it more intense. Or you can keep the arpeggios here. What I like in the chorus is to feel the beat in the back like this. Because we have more space between the lyrics, so we can add quite a note in between those. Like this. Have space. Alright, so what happened here? So you can do quarter note, but you can also add movement with the notes of the chords. That's what happened here. C, E, so that's just the C major chord. Same thing here, the D major chord. So that's something you can do anywhere if you'd like. Create more movement, those are fills, using the notes of the chords. I would add a beautiful octaves right here. Keep maybe the beat in the back between those fill. Yeah, just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to get the free PDF in the description to try this song at home. Alright, bye for now.